You are 34 years old. You make $61,000 a year managing inventory. You drive a car with a passenger window that won't seal, and you have exactly $214 left in your checking account until payday. Then you find yourself sitting across a mahogany desk from an attorney. He slides a document over. Your grandmother died 11 days ago. The two of you hadn't spoken in 3 years, a mutual, quiet distance that neither of you ever formally acknowledged. You sign on page 4. This digital ledger shows exactly what happens next. After estate taxes and attorney fees, $983,400 lands in your checking account. This figure is now sitting in an account that earns almost nothing, instantly dwarfing your entire financial reality. The sheer scale of the balance is disorienting. The zeros on the screen don't feel like real money yet. They create a vacuum where standard financial logic no longer applies. The lottery curse conjures images of yachts and wild parties, but sudden wealth rarely burns in a bonfire. It is dismantled, one practical purchase at a time. You read online that you should wait 60 days before making a move. You vow to follow this rule. You hold out for 19 days before writing a check for a $54,200 pre-owned Mercedes. The old car was unreliable and vibrating. By purchasing the Mercedes, you convince yourself you're addressing a safety issue. You negotiate the price. You tell yourself this is a disciplined, responsible decision. That signature on the dealership paperwork ends the 60-day vow. The inheritance has stopped being a static number in a checking account. It has become permission to rewrite the terms of your daily life. A sudden influx of capital creates its own gravity, and it immediately pulls in the people closest to you. Your mother calls. She needs $22,000 to avoid foreclosure. She frames it as a loan, but you write the check knowing you have never seen her repay a debt to anyone. Next, your brother needs $15,000 to settle a judgment from a defunct business. You wire the funds without drawing up a single piece of paperwork or discussing terms of repayment. Then a college friend surfaces after 4 years of silence. He has a professional pitch deck for a new app. You give him a $40,000 bridge loan. The app never launches and the money vanishes. If we look back at the ledger, we can track the damage. The balance ticks down rapidly to $837,400, leaving without any ceremony. These losses felt good in real time. Helping the people you love felt like the primary purpose of having money, which allowed you to rationalize every disappearing dollar. With the first boundaries crossed, your baseline shifts. You leave your $1,100 a month apartment for a luxury unit with quartz countertops at $2,650 a month. You drop $14,800 on matching furniture from a design studio. Your social life restructures itself around this new aesthetic. Dinners cost more. You pick up group checks. You front the cost for shared Airbnbs and never get reimbursed. This chart reveals the mathematical trap. Your take-home pay is still exactly $5,083 a month, but your monthly burn rate has stretched from your old $2,200 baseline up to a massive $8,000, dwarfing your actual income. Each individual purchase feels tiny compared to an inheritance of nearly $1 million. This makes the deficit silent. It never announces itself as a crisis until the cushion is completely gone. 14 months after the wire hits, you check your balance. It has plummeted to $674,000. A silent panic sets in, triggering a desperate need to rebuild the cushion. You start making forced plays. Your brother pitches a food truck concept. You hand over $58,000 for a used truck and initial repairs on a handshake. You secure zero LLC structure and no operating agreement. Next, you dump $120,000 into an out-of-town self-storage facility. You don't independently verify their occupancy projections, and you don't hire a lawyer to review the terms. Finally, you find a financial advisor, but you don't know enough to ask if he's a fiduciary. He locks $218,000 into actively managed mutual funds with a steep 1.4% expense ratio, alongside a whole life insurance policy. Watch how the nature of the wealth changes on the ledger. The vast majority of your capital is now locked behind these heavy investments, leaving you with a tiny sliver of green. Only $38,000 remains in accessible, liquid cash. You have moved past poor decisions into poor architecture. Investments made without due diligence or legal paperwork are simply donations. By month 31, the structure fails. The food truck quietly does out of business and the equipment is auctioned off. The out-of-town storage facility files for receivership. Your return on both is zero. You move back to a cheaper apartment and sell your designer furniture on Facebook Marketplace at a massive loss. You absorb a $9,000 penalty just to trade in the Mercedes and get out from under the monthly payment. This final ledger tally tracks the remaining damage. You liquidate the mutual funds to pay off the credit card debt you rebuilt during this period. You are left with $152,500. The cost of your financial education is exactly $830,900. Liquidity and wealth are different calculations. A large number sitting in a checking account is useless without a rigid, structural plan to defend it. Bad luck didn't destroy this fortune. You lost it through a series of choices that felt virtuous, helpful, and reasonable in the moment. You helped your mother. You believed in your brother. Your grandmother sat on that money for 40 years. She refused to allow the balance to rewrite her lifestyle or her identity. Money measures decisions, not intentions.